Hello, it's Wednesday again. Just got in from my PE with the children. So I ran this morning. It's cold out there, not gonna lie. But I did PE with the girls this afternoon. We did about 3 miles, which was a 2-mile loop, and then 4 reps up the hill. It's something that we're doing every week. So last week we talked about hopes and fears. Week before that we talked about habits. This week, somebody who I've run with a couple of times, a good runner friend, me and him were chatting on a run that we did about those of us that run at one level, and I don't even want to call it a level, but those of us that run and do it more regularly than those that maybe don't, and what effect that might have on people that are struggling to run. And I said to him that I would do a video on it. So it's quite a difficult one. That's going to really annoy me. I can't bear hoodie strings being different lengths. And I've got a hat on today because I am flipping cold. Anyhow, so I did actually put a post out on social media, Facebook, during the week, which some of you would have seen, but I wanted to do a video on it as well. So this video today is going to cover a few things. So firstly, I'm going to go right to the foundation of the current problem with society. And you know, I'm 47, so I was born in 73, and I'm pretty sure when I was young, and I only remember probably back until I was about 7 or 8 years of age, I don't remember much before that, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't see hundreds of people out running. I'm pretty sure that I didn't see lots of gyms, I didn't see lots of PTs on the seafront, but I also didn't see McDonald's, Costa Coffee, all the things that we shouldn't really do, but we do. So I started looking into some facts and figures because, you know, society over a period of time, and let's look at the last 40 years as a good example, society over a period of time has got into some bad habits, and those bad habits have led us to today's predicament where we have, I don't even want to talk about mental health because I don't think this comes into it, where we have guilty pleasures and where we start to be really aware of those people around us because of social media. You know, when I was a youngster and I lived at home, unless you read the paper or you got chatting to friends or you had friends around for dinner, which as a family we didn't do very often, the only people I spoke to were the people at school. When I left school, I started to work, so it was people I spoke to in London at work. So I'm going to give you some facts and some figures. McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's first opened their store in the UK in 1974. Last year, McDonald's have a total of 1,300 restaurants, okay? That's just McDonald's. That's not KFC, it's not Burger King, it's not Krispy Kreme donuts, it's not any of the other things. That's just McDonald's. So if you average it out, that's 27 new McDonald's restaurants every year for the last 46 years. Costa Coffee, established 1978. They currently have 3,883 locations. Nearly 4,000 Costa Coffees in the world right now. So when did gyms start appearing? Like, when did we suddenly start getting gyms? LA Fitness started in 1984, 10 years after McDonald's and kind of a few years after Costa started. Interesting. The first London Marathon, 1981. About the same time that McDonald's, or just shortly after McDonald's opened in 74, London Marathon started in 1981, as did many other events. So if you think about the last 40 years, we've seen a massive growth in fast food chain stores, gyms, PTs, fitness fads, nutrition supplements, events, everything's gone like that. Everything's on the up. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I honestly don't know. If you go back to the 50s, the 60s, the early 70s, there wasn't such thing as obesity. It was identified that obesity started, guess when? 1984, 10 years after the first McDonald's. There's a pattern, isn't there? As we've gone through each decade, we've got into bad habits. We are suckers of marketing. We are lining the pockets of billion-dollar companies, and we are making ourselves unhealthy. And we, in return, are now spending money that we might not have on PTs, gym memberships, Peloton bikes, spin classes, home equipment, kettlebells. Everyone's saying to me, I can't get any kettlebells. Okay. There is the argument that physical fitness is good for mental health. But back in the 70s and 80s, we didn't talk about mental health, did we? It wasn't identified that mental health was an issue. Not saying it wasn't an issue back then, but is part of today's predicament, is part of today's mental health issues, the fact that we live in a Deliveroo, Just Eat, online banking, click and collect, lazy arse society. We are not getting off our backsides and going and doing the basic exercise. What we're doing is eating and drinking shit. Sorry about the swearing, but we're eating and drinking shit every day because it's a fashionable thing to do. It's a fad, and let's meet on the seafront, go for a coffee, or whatever. There's coffee shops everywhere. I'm not knocking people that are opening coffee shops. Knock yourselves out. Earn money out of it. It's a business. I'm proud of anybody that establishes their own business. But if we constantly are in the cycle of eat crap, drink crap, pay to exercise, don't pay to exercise, moan about exercise, goes round and round in circles. And this is where I come to my point of the levels that we're at and how it makes people feel. So I ran this morning. I ran 11 and a bit miles, okay? My point is, and the reason I put my post up, was that is not designed, it doesn't have that purpose to make anybody out there who isn't currently running, that wants to run, somebody that is running but isn't up to 11 miles, to feel rubbish about themselves, because I'm no different from anybody else. Do you know the reason I run 11 miles every day is because I've tasked myself. I'm doing a virtual challenge. I'll tell you all, it's a Centurion running virtual double Grand Slam, which is 600 miles. So in 2018, you would have all known I did all those races, 450 milers, 400 milers, and an Ironman to achieve 600 miles, to be on the coveted table of ultra marathon running's, kind of elite table of the 600 club. So Centurion are now challenging us to do a virtual run, and I've entered the 600 miles, and guess what? I've got 2 months to do it, so I'm running 10 miles every day. I ran this morning. Did I enjoy it? Not particularly. Was it hard? Yes. Was it cold out there? Yes. Was I motivated to go and do it? Yes. Okay. It's the same for me to go and do 11 miles as it is for some of you to go and do 1 mile or 2 mile or 3 mile. A mile is a mile. Exercise is exercise. The motivation to do whatever it is you are going to do should be the same. Never, ever look at my posts or anybody else's posts on Strava, Instagram, Facebook, or anywhere else and think, oh, check him out. He's running 11 miles. He's telling everyone he's running 11 miles. I have no idea how most of you perceive me. And I really, deep to my heart, hope that none of you think, dickhead. Honestly, I do. My job, when I first started this 12 years ago, was to change people's lives, help people get on the straight and narrow. I changed my own life. I lost weight, got myself on the straight and narrow. My job is to do that, okay? And I thought that this job, I honestly thought I would do this job for 10 years and I would reach out to so many people and I'd change the way everyone thought and people wouldn't need me anymore. And people would have educated themselves and grasped the whole idea of exercising and diet and everything else. It's not happened. So the reason I tell people that I'm doing what I'm doing is because I hope it inspires people, and people have come to me and said, do you know what, it's amazing you're going out and doing what you're doing. It's amazing you did that race and this race and everything else. It's not about me showing off. It's about me helping some of you understand what is required, the mechanics of what is required to make those decisions. We talked about hopes and fears. We talked about habits. Do it regularly. What I've done for the last 10 days is got my backside out the door and I've run 10 miles a day for 10 days. It's not easy, but the harder it is, the more I want to try and do it, okay? Should I be fearful of it? Hopes and fears. Should I fear it? Actually, yeah, you should. You should fear failure. You should take that and quantify failure and turn it around. If you're somebody who buckles at the first hurdle and the thought of going out in this cold and running, I commented yesterday, somebody put a post up about it's cold out there, and I said, oh look, snowflakes everywhere. I mean that tongue in cheek, but what is the worst that's going to happen? How important is exercise to you? How important is it for you to counter your McDonald's Costa coffee, Krispy Kreme donuts, Frappalaca mochaccino, whatever it is that you do? How do you counter that? Sitting at home looking out the window going, it's a bit cold, don't fancy it. Okay, fine, don't go then. But don't complain, don't post on Facebook, I can't be bothered, I feel fit, I don't want to look like Peppa Pig, I've put on weight, how do I lose weight? Someone recommend a PT. Yesterday, somebody put a post up, can someone recommend a PT? That question, what am I going to reply to that? Straight away, you can't ask for somebody to recommend a PT, okay? You have to do some basic education yourself. You have to decide, what is your goal? What is your expectation? Where do you live? How much, what's your budget? How much do you want to spend on your PT? What's your current eating habits? Do you drive? Are you prepared to work outside? Because we can't work inside at the moment. Have you had a PT before? What do you think that PT is going to do for you? I tell you now, the amount of people, and most of you hopefully watching this will relate to this, the amount of you that have come through my door and trained with me for 2 or 3, maybe 4 sessions and then dropped off because it wasn't what you thought it was. Okay, it's all about expectations. An hour with me once a week, 6 days and 23 hours for you on your own devices with no help. Guess what's going to happen? Yeah, you've got to identify your life, your eating habits. Sorry, I'm just getting WhatsApp to come through. I'm trying to read at the same time. You've got to identify where you're going wrong. Okay, if your life is, I'm too busy. This is something else that happened this week. I'm too busy. Some of you this week have told me you've not watched my video because you're too busy. Last week's video was 17 minutes, okay? All those people that have sat there and said, I haven't got time to watch this, I want you to go to your settings on your phone. I want you to look at your screen time. And I want you to, don't tell me, just identify for yourself how much of that screen time per day was a waste of your time. 99% of it was absolute waste of time. Obviously, watching my video would be part of that screen time, and that's not a waste of time, of course, because this is useful stuff for you. But how much of your screen time, how much of this do you do? I do it a lot, because I'm always looking at people that are asking for PTs. I'm looking at the reasons my run group aren't going out and running when they should be. I'm looking at the reasons why somebody who once trained with me now isn't training and is complaining about being overweight, or is constantly saying to me, I will come back and train. Yeah, Christmas is coming. Just don't keep talking about it. You've got to make that decision. You've got to do it. For me, it's a very simple thing. It's a very simple mechanic of life, like taking the girls out for PE. It's a decision we've made. We've created the habit. We do it every week, every Wednesday afternoon, every Friday afternoon. We go out, we do PE. 3 weeks in, they're enjoying it. 4 weeks in, whatever it is, they're enjoying it. They're actually saying to me, I really enjoyed that today, Daddy. And it's flurrying down with snow at the moment. It's like -1 out there. But they enjoyed it because you work hard and you get warm and you deal with it. But, going back to the initial point, I'm going to wrap up on this because it's a very short one today, is that you can't feel demotivated when other people are posting things up. But if you're posting things up yourself and saying, I went out there and smashed a 7-minute mile and I can't believe how quick I am, stop. Think about what that effect has on other people around you that aren't motivated. I upload my stuff to Strava, so people on Strava see it. I don't necessarily constantly put it on Facebook. I'm not trying to constantly say to people, look how amazing I am, because that's not the idea behind it. But if I post up saying, I'm doing 10 miles, I'm doing 50 miles, it's to show those that aren't getting out the door that it's possible. You can get out the door, okay? My 10 miles might be your 1 mile, but it doesn't matter. A mile is a mile. A run is a run. Exercise is exercise. Mental health is mental health. Tick those boxes. But you've got to get your diet straight before you embark on this. So if you're a beginner, if you're sitting at home now and you're a beginner and you think, how do I start? Start by educating yourself. Yeah, keep a food diary. Work out how many calories you're eating every day. Work out where those calories are coming from. Understand what a pound of fat is worth in calories. Understand what a carbohydrate is. Don't cut out carbohydrates and eat protein because somebody told you should do that and then drink a protein shake, because you're lining the pockets of a supplement company that have reacted to the market. They've reacted to the growth. You don't need to drink protein shakes. You need to eat protein, which is available from beans and vegetables and chicken and meat and dairy and all the other things, okay? If you don't eat any of those things, you literally are restricted to just eating, I don't know, whatever it is you eat, then there might be a need for supplements. But the majority of us, you don't train hard enough. You don't need to swap meals for protein shakes, which are chocolate flavoured, which contain sugar. So they contain carbohydrate anyway. Don't waste your money on that stuff, okay? Bare minimum, go back to basics. Go back to the early 70s. How did we live in the early 70s? We weren't overweight then, okay? If I drive past McDonald's now, if I drive past McDonald's in the morning, if I run along Bexhill Road past Costa Coffee, which I have done every day for the last 2 months, there's loads of people in there, sitting in there. Well, no, they're not sitting there because of lockdown, but pulling up in their cars, filling their boots, okay? If that is you, and you're sitting there every day going, oh, I need to eat, I need to exercise. Oh, I'm going to come back and do Paul's class. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Stop it. You're reacting to the problem. You're not being proactive in terms of your situation. Sure, I eat cake. Of course I eat cake. I run every day. Yeah, I do push-ups every night. I keep on top of my levels of fitness. Yin and yang, balance it, okay? But from a running perspective, please don't be motivated. You know, I did some PT with a guy earlier in the week and he said, oh, it's really hard, isn't it? I don't want to use Strava. I don't want to put my things up. Everyone's going to laugh at me. Really, if that's what you think, just bin Strava off. You know, I know plenty of people that don't use Strava, but don't ever be demotivated by what somebody else is putting up. I'm proud of what I do. I'm achieving something that I never thought I'd be able to achieve. So I'm proud of myself. That's what gets me round. 11 miles, gets me round. That's why I post it up. I don't put it up there to show off. Okay, so if that's your perception of me, FaceTime me, let's have a chat, get to know me, understand that the things I do and the reasons I do it is to help you guys. I don't want to be a moany PT for the rest of my life, where I'm constantly saying to people, this is why you're not doing it. This is why this isn't happening. This is why to me, it's common sense. You've got to educate yourselves, okay? You've got to just do a little bit more than the bare minimum. Forget about all the other bits and pieces. Just back to basics, okay? Get out the door. Go run for 10 minutes. If you need to run for 3 minutes, walk for a minute, run for 3 minutes, walk for a minute, continuous. If you need to, walk for, 45 minutes, whatever it is, you're different. So just do that for you. But if you sit there every day looking at everybody else's posts saying, oh, everybody else is fitter than me. Okay. Everyone else is on the plane, they've left, you're still at the airport. What are you going to do? Get another plane? Get on another plane? Try and get on that plane? Or are you just going to go home and drag your heels and just sit there and moan about the fact that you've not achieved anything? Yeah? You've got to motivate yourselves to achieve what you're doing or what you need to do. Yeah? That's what I do. That's what I try and do on a daily basis, is motivate myself, because I can't sit in here day after day not exercising the balance of eating cake. I could just stop eating cake, but that'd be boring. I like cake. Yeah? It's a bit of a serious one this week, but I hope I've ticked all the boxes. I keep tapping my hands. I hope I've ticked some boxes for you. Think about those numbers. Quiz-a-size Thursday. I'm going to be testing you on this. So I hope you've watched this. And do you know what? If you don't have time to watch these videos, if you... Carl Denny and I did a podcast, and he published the YouTube video, which was, I think, 20 minutes long. The average watch of that video is 6 minutes. Why? It's interesting listening to people, isn't it? If you're watching this now and you've not got to this bit, one of my clients said to me, Lucy, said to me, I watched some of it, I didn't watch all of it. Great. This is free resource. I guarantee if I lived in your houses, I could find plenty of time in the day to watch a 17-minute video. Set your alarm 5, 6, 10 minutes earlier in the morning. Yeah? Get your ass out of bed. Yeah? Motivate yourselves, okay? If you're doing Quiz-a-size Thursday, which I hope you all will, then I'll see you then. St Michael's Fitness Frenzy, I think they're calling it, next week. I'm taking the class 7:30 Friday morning. Get yourselves on there, okay? It's raising money for a charity, okay, which is important. If you've not run yet, get out there now. It's lovely because it's snowing. All right, love to you all. Take care. See you soon. Bye.